himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tuesday nights. It's the UkSimracers MX5 Season 3 of 2024. It's round 2 of the autumn season, live from Brands Hatch GP. I'm James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth not by one individual this evening, and Mr. Tom Cairns. I'm going to be joined by Craig Jones as well. Had problems with a headset, which meant he could not drive, and has now come and joined joined us on that one. I'll let him tell you all about it very shortly. Let's bring you up to date with the standings as they are currently right before this race. Charles Kellerman leading the AMs with Darren McLean in second and Fiona Siddons in third. Colin Sanson in fourth, then Andy Littler and Craig Jones in fifth and sixth respectively. Then Alan Toon and Mick Barry. A couple of people at the bottom have not raced this season. In the pro standings, it's Pete Newman out in front on 341 points with PVG in second and Steve Hefford in third. Ollie Ricks in fourth, Jamie Wilson there on 264 in fifth with Tom Griffiths, Ralph Cullinan, Dan Hunt, Jamie Ayres, and then you've got the likes of Martin Sampson, Dries Neese and Carl Hardy who have not raced. In the overall, it's quite a packed overall with Dan Hunt out in front on 3378, Jamie Ayres with 3344. They're quite close together, they're about 34 points away from each other. Then you've got Pete Newman in third, then Jamie Wilson, PVG, Ralph Cullinan, Steve Hefford, Colin Sanson, and then Charles Kellerman. Tom Griffiths, Fiona Siddons, Darrell Wright, Ollie Ricks, Darren McLean, Andy Littler, Martin Sampson, Alan Toon, and Steve Hansford. And then beyond that, you've got Roger Morton, Miles Owens, Mick Barry, John Sylvester, Eamon Bramer, Craig Jones, Callum McPherson, Arnold Chagnonier, Daniel Dennison, Dan Lewis, Dries Neese, and Carl Hardy. In the team standings, it looks like this. Momo's out in front by 9-2-3-4 over Results Clavin iRacing team on 5-7-6-5. Then we've got Work Guard by Result 5287 and Optical Green, DOF Reality SimRacers Studios in 5th, Team Chimera in 6th, Pure Sims Result in 7th, Year 1 Safeguard by Result in 9th, Pure Sims in 10th, Sim Racing Sweden and Aerokinetics in 12th place there as well. Let's bring Tom into the booth to start off with. First, Tom, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
It's a gorgeous place, and of course I'm going to be at Brands in a couple of weekends' time for the season finale of British Touring Cars, believe it or not. So I can imagine it's going to be quite an exciting occasion, as much as this will be, given the drivers we've got who've got to put on the show throughout this evening. For those of you wondering how it will all work, we've got 10 minutes of qualifying to determine the grid for race number 1. The top 9 from the race 1 result will determine the reverse grid for race 2. And then we'll go into a short break before we return for race number 3, which is sorted by a randomised grid. And then race number 4 will be a certain number of the top drivers at the end of race 3 to determine the grid for the last race of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will correct you on one thing, no, Tom. It's a 15-minute qualifying session. Let's bring Mr. Jones into the booth to tell us all about his struggles he's had for the last 45 minutes to an hour of trying to get a headset to work, which meant he could not drive, and he's in here in the booth. Good evening, Craig. How are you, buddy?
Good evening, James. Good evening, everybody. Yes, a bit disappointed to not be racing, but my headset wouldn't work, unfortunately, so I've got no way of getting sound to where my rig is in the room, and trying to race without sound is just a no-go. So yes, disappointed to not be racing, but hey, what's better than racing them when you can be watching them? So yeah, happy either way.
And you get to spend 2 hours with me. That's something to look forward to, isn't it?
That's literally a dream come true, James. It really is.
Oh, come on, mate. That's not the longest we've spent together, is it? With our 8-hour days on doing VDOV, but still, it should be a fun one here once more as these guys do head out into that 15-minute of qualifying. You do expect the times to get quicker and quicker over the first probably 9 to 10 minutes, and then they'll drop off a little bit after that when the tyre dead kicks in, and they won't be able to set any faster times. You'll be chasing thousands and tenths here as well. We've got kind of an all British start to the season, Tom. You know, this is the third one out of 7 on British tracks that we're going to go to. Off to Cadwell Park next week, Silverstone, Legacy South, Alton Park, Brands Hatch, Indy. I'm presuming the touring car you're going to watch this one, if that's the last of the season, that's at the Indy circuit, isn't it, this weekend?
It's actually the Grand Prix circuit as far as I'm concerned, James, so which is where the drivers are, you can see on the screen, are filtering through, you know, the likes of Westfields and Hawthorns, Dingledale and Stirlings, and then coming back onto the straight after clearways. And it's traditionally the Grand Prix layout that they do the season finale in British touring cars, whereas the Indy circuit they use is when they usually turn up around May time.
Yeah, you are right. I'm looking at the calendar now. The 11th and 12th of May, they actually did the Indy circuit, where Brands Hatch was the GP circuit this weekend as well. Watching is good, Craig. Commentary spot as well, says Mr. Gary Walsh there, in support of why we've got Mr. Jones set up here in the booth. Bless him as well, running around for the last 45 minutes on that one. Craig, tell us then, did you get out on track before your headset decided to terminate itself?
No, I haven't managed to put any practice into this week. So my plan was that I finished work nice and early, got home, and then had the disaster was trying to get audio. So yeah, a bit disappointed really, because Brands Hatch is one of my favourite tracks. So I'm really gutted not to be there. And like Tom, I am planning on actually trying to get down to the final race of the touring cars, if I can find a way of travelling there. So I'm planning on going with Mr. Nick Barry. I don't think he's here tonight, but yeah, we are planning on going down. So if I do go, Tom, we'll have to meet up and say hi.
I would be all for that, Craig, and I'm sure some drivers who are maybe going to Brands as well will want to take the opportunity to say hi to me as well. So it'd be absolutely fantastic if I could take the opportunity and say hi to you. I will be there for both Saturday and Sunday, so you've got a couple of days for when I be there essentially, and for you to take the opportunity to say hello and have a good chat. So I'm all for it. We've got cars coming. Go on.
Look at it, it's all love up here in the booth as well. 28 and 29, unfortunately I'm jam solid, so I definitely will not be making this weekend once again. Just coming into qualifying, they're going to start setting their lap times. PVG going to be the first one over the line. How is PVG going to go? Well, we'll wait for them to start coming through. Dan Hunt takes the top, 1:38.4. Griffiths, Newman breaks into the 37.7, so he's going to be on the money this tonight as well. Pete Newman leading that Pro Championship for the first time in a very long while. I cannot remember, in fact, the last time I saw Pete Newman at the top of the Pro standings, so that's great to see from him. Dan Hunt on a 1:38.4, Tom Griffiths 38.407, 38.876, the leading hands with Darren McLean, actually faster than PVG and Jamie Wilson. Charles Kellerman, Collie Sampson, Ollie Ricks, Fiona Siddons, Andy Littler and Rav Cullinan. Good times from Pete there, Tom, setting the board light with 37.7.
Yeah, very good time indeed around this course. It's a quick circuit, but there's so many corners where it's just pretty much high speed, which you absolutely have to nail. And clearly Pete Newman was able to do it on the first time lap. All the drivers are sort of bunching next to each other. Well, it's for an important reason. They want the benefit, all of the benefit of the draft from the car in front. So you can just see there, Pete Fungal is the one that's just punched a hole in the air, really, although he's just gone wide, actually, and he'll lose the lap and he'll fall back. He just needs to make sure he does not rejoin and impede other drivers on the apex there of Stirling's.
Yeah, he managed to get away quite cleanly. He's going to come out in front. I believe that's Darren McLean tucked in right behind him, because Jamie Wilson is there in that Team Chimera car. Dan Hunt chasing away on this one. Craig, who do we think is who's looking strong? Pete Newman top in the pros, top in the qualifying session here. Been a while since the 118's have been at the top of the pro standings.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a safe bet to have any of, Pete Newman's, Dan Hunt's also pretty good in qualifying, Jamie Ayres. So the top names you see there, Pete Newman's looking really, really strong. We know he's a really strong driver at pretty much any track. He's one of those annoying drivers that can literally go anywhere and seem to put in a good time. So, yeah, I think he likes his place. He's got lots of experience here. So, yeah, I think we could be seeing some strong wins from Pete Newman tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see how that 118 machine gets on, whether or not he's going to be able to lead from the front and take the win like he did last time out in Donington in race number 1, where he did come and take that victory. So we'll see how Pete Newman gets on and whether or not he's going to wrap it up here again. That would be very, very interesting in that one. Some tough corners at Brands Hatch. If you've never ever been here before, you run down through Paddock Hill, turn number 1, up into Druids, I should say. You do go down and then up into Druids, Graham Hill, and then through Surtees when you got the long run after that one. These guys, of course, in these little MX5 180 brake horsepower machines, topping north, well, I think it's going to be round about 120 they're going to roughly hit by the time they get going into turn 1 here, Tom. Not many downshifts to a lower gear as such with these cars. Probably second might be the lowest they'll get to, and that'll be up for round Druids, really.
Yeah, well, we'll just see what Newman is doing as he heads his way through Druids. He actually does go down to first gear, does Newman? So I would say that's going to be the only corner around the lap where in these cars you're going to need to have the first gear. So, but when does he actually shift down to first gear? I'm just looking at the speedometer on there, and he does not go down to first gear through Graham Hill Bends. It's run about 60 kilometres an hour where he's actually shifting down, isn't he? But other than that, he's making his way up to 4th. But as you can see, he's going underneath the bridge towards Hawthorne. So you can just looking at Tom Griffiths now, or Jamie Ayres actually. And yeah, he's not going any higher than 4th gear. So he could just focus on just getting the car through the apex and through the corners ever so nicely. And that's the thing about these cars, actually. You don't need to be mighty quick. You just need to sort of know the car, understand what the car can do. And when he goes around a circuit like Brands Hatch, which is very fast flowing, it can feel like a dream to drive.
No, it's definitely got more. So generally speaking, you're only ever going to find 5th gear down most of the tracks here. Certainly the ones that we go to in the UkSimracers. So no, it has got more. It's got more. I think it's actually got 6 gears, but you generally find you wouldn't need to go into that. So yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about the gears at this particular track, because now more than ever you do seem to be using that first gear, and it never used to be like that. So where the car's upgraded and it's changed and it's adapted, we do tend to use first gear more than we ever did before.
This season, because obviously the fact they are looking so dominant.
Well, you can just see the points gap. I don't know if you can see the points gap now in the Teams Championship, because they've got such a slender lead. It's pretty much impossible that they're going to get caught in the remaining rounds of 2024. So it's as good as done from their point of view. It's just a question of whether one of their drivers is going to come away with the championship for their own personal record.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a lead of 3,470 points here, which is like insurmountable lead for these guys as well. We've got some of the others that are struggling. Ollie Ricks, obviously promoted last week up into pros. He removed Darrell Wright from the result clothing iRacing team he went in and slammed his fists on the table and said, if I'm going to be promoted to pros, he's out, said Ollie Ricks. He laid down the gauntlet, and unfortunately for Darrell Wright, well, he got kicked out. Not doing the business this season, Darrell Wright, so he was booted out of the team under strict orders from the results clothing management, and Ollie Ricks' strong, confident personality he's got. That's what happened, Craig, isn't it?
It's not quite how it happens. If you want to get your own way in the result team, you just get Carl Hardy some donuts or something like that, and you pretty much get whatever you want. So that's probably what happened. Is Ollie just brought Carl Hardy a burger or some donuts, and he said you can have whatever team you want. You can be a pro. You can do whatever you like, and that's generally how it works.
Right, so it's easier to bribe Carl with McDonald's than it is then slamming your fist down on the table and getting the up. So, mental note for anybody who's trying to get into the results clothing team, take Carl Hardy some donuts or treat him to a McDonald's and you're in. That is it, easily led on that one. Ollie Ricks still sitting in ninth though, so he's not doing a great job this evening, Tom. We get used to Ollie being fast, but here at Brands, not so quick.
To correct you a little bit, he did actually improve on his latest lap and went up into ninth position, but he was in the mix with all the AMs there. And going on to Ollie Ricks, he had a very, very torrid time last week. Too many mistakes via his own accord. Didn't get involved in too many incidents with other drivers. It was a round to forget for him. And so far this evening, he hasn't quite extracted the most out of the Mazda MX5 that he is in, like what we've seen from him previously in the AMs. And Craig, I don't know whether you want to maybe explain why that could be for Ollie Ricks. Is it the pressure? Is it the machine he's driving in compared to what he's used to? Where do you see it?
I think there's definitely an element of mindset that does come into it. So, I have been in the same boat as Ollie. So I was AM and moved up to pro, and they're definitely that mindset creeps in about more focus, more attention. You feel there's a little bit more pressure on yourself to perform better as well for the team. But ultimately, he's there because of the talent that he's shown. We know that Ollie Ricks can do some really good lap times. We know he's particularly strong in the wet, so he just needs to carry on doing the job that he was doing up until that point. And I think we've got some real good racing to watch from him in the future to come.
Are we watching the £86 million footballer who can't score a goal? Is that the way we're looking at it with Ollie Ricks here? He's been promoted up. He's got the pressure on his shoulders. He's got Ralph Cullen, his teammate, beating him as well. The Irishman doing the business, fueled with the whiskey that his blood gets running with here, Tom. Is that what we're looking at? Ollie Ricks, who can't maybe not handle the pressure of running with Ralph Cullinan as he makes a mistake there.
Well, we were speaking about Ralph Cullinan, and we felt that Ollie Ricks was comprehensively beating Ralph Cullinan on his days, and at the moment it seems to be the other way around. I think Ralph Cullinan may as well have picked up the pace a little bit since Ollie Ricks had arrived. And what to say about Ollie Ricks, he missed the Grand Prix layout and just went straight past clearways and back to the pit lane. But we need to give Ricks some time. This is only his third round as a pro, if you want to count Snetterton, and he's got a lot to learn when it comes to battling with the pros, because when he was fighting with the pros as an AM, he wasn't exactly fighting it for understandable reasons, but now he's got to get stuck in.
Yeah, fully agree on that one. They have come to the end of qualifying. We will be able to bring you up the grid very, very shortly now. And if you are at home, hold on to your hats. This is going to get spicy. Pete Newman in pole position, PVG alongside Dan Hunt in third, Tom Griffiths in fourth. Then you got Ralph Cullinan in fifth, Jamie Ayres in sixth, Steve Heaven in seventh, Jamie Wilson eighth, and then Ollie Ricks in ninth. Then Darren McLean leading the AMs in 10th, Charles Kellerman 11th. 11th. Colin Sanson down in 12th place. Then we've got Fiona Siddons and Andy Littler, and of course Sir Alan Toon. Mr. Jones is set up with us up here in the booth, of course. Going to enjoy all the action from the nice warm booth that they give us here at Brands Hatch. And I can safely say all three of us, it's getting very toasty up here, I can tell you that much. But we're going to be waiting for the cars to get on the grid. It will be a 2-minute gridding time due to obviously somebody missing off the grid. No offence here, Mr. Jones, but that is you, sir.
Sorry.
There you go. Nicely done. So yes, the lights are going to be on. We're off already. 5 lights here, ladies and gentlemen. Round 3, heat number 1 from Brands Hatch for the UK SimRacers is green. Pete Newman takes the whole shot. PVG runs in second place currently at this moment in time. Down through Old Hall they go. Paddock Hill, sorry, that's at the wrong racetrack. Up into Druids, and it is Pete Newman out in front. PVG in second, Dan Hunt in third. Then we've got Tom Griffiths, Ralph Cullen and Steve Everett. Jamie Ayres all in there. Ollie Ricks has moved ahead of Jamie Wilson. Wilson's going to have the inside. Is he going to be able to hold on? He is. He's kind of muscled out. Ricks on the outside. Around Graham Hill they go. Tom, not a bad start. Everybody away cleanly. Pete Newman taking the whole shot.
Yes, absolutely. Newman getting away nicely. It felt to me like the cars were very slow away from lights out, but Newman has taken the early advantage ahead of Pete Van Gool, with Dan Hunt and Tom Griffiths giving chase. Dan Hunt, remember, has won on this track in the summer campaign, as have Jamie Wilson and Jamie Ayres, I believe. I'll double check on that. But either way, it's a good start for Newman, as expected, with Gool aiming for a clean race, and we've got a little bit of battling going on towards the rear end of the field.
Yeah, this is the Adams, Colin Sanson, Darren McLean, Charles Kellerman and Fiona Siddons. Andy Littler's in there. Sir Alan Toon is further back. Hanging on though is Sir Alan, doing a great job at keeping up with all of these guys in front of him. The Adams are led by Sanson, McLean, Kellerman, Siddons and Littler going to be fighting it out. We've got the battles in the middle here as well. Tom Griffiths, Dan Hunt, PVG, Ralph Cullen and Steve Hefford here, Craig. They're all having a right little ding-dong up at the front of the field. 1 lap down, 13 minutes on the clock to go. Still got anybody's game, Craig.
Yeah, it's very typical first lap for race 1 of the UK SimRacers there, so not too much drama. It's only when we start mixing the grid up we start to see a little bit of action, a little bit of carnage, let's say. So yeah, good solid opening lap. It's Brands GP, anything can happen around this track, so I still feel we've got a lot of racing to come, a lot of twists to this race ahead of us.
Yeah, you can see Steve Everett just cleared there, Ralph Cullen, and that was up for Druids. He's just got the job done on that one. He's going to go after Tom Griffiths. Newman runs a little bit wide on the exit out of Surtees. Now this run through Pilgrim's Drop. PVG tucked in right behind him at the moment. His nose to tail is PVG. Is he going to come and start sticking his nose up the inside? He's not. What about Dan Hunt? Is he going to be chasing him as they're coming into the right hander now? Before they go in through Dingledale, down through Westfields they go, into Dingledale, coming out the other side of Sheens. It is Pete Newman, Dan Hunt, PVG. PVG got very close and Tom couldn't quite make the move at the very high speed Hawthorns.
No, he decided to back out of it there. One driver's coming alive now. It's Ollie Ricks, because he's got by Jamie Ayres on the lap and up into 7th position, and Dan Hunt thinking about a move through clearways, but I think it'll be very, very audacious to do it there, and so he waits for the straight before they come round to Paddock Hill Bend for the 3rd time.
Pete Van Gool is in there now as well. You see Hunt's going to move into the inside line. He set that DOF Reality MX5 up. Is he going to be able to go round his contact? Is there even more contact? No, there was a little bit of argy-bargy going through Paddock Hill into Druids. PVG almost kind of nearly, not really, closing the door. There was contact on there. That uncertainty from PVG there, Craig, led to that situation with Dan Hunt sticking his nose on the inside.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Dan Hunt went for the move through Paddock Hill, to be honest with you. I think if it was me, I would have waited for Paddock Hill and then maybe tried to have got up the inside with a bit more commitment maybe on Druids. But hey, that's me. And Dan Hunt's definitely far more experienced and quicker driver than me. So yeah, interesting move there. Almost worked, but sadly not on this occasion.
Yeah, Pete Newman lost the lead to PVG. Hunt's in there as well. Griffiths is in there. These front four, you've got Cullinan and Hefford side by side. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work through Westfield. They did make it work though. Hefford runs a little bit wide and Cullinan tightens it up. Down through Dingledale. Please don't go too wide up the top. They're not. Hefford's going to take it. Ricks is nestling in there. Ayres is in there. Wilson is in there. Two pockets of battles here. Ollie Ricks trying to go in and around and up and down and alongside Jamie Ayres. Not quite making it through this time around. Under Van Bridge they go. Okay, we've got Cullinan on the left, Hefford on the right. Ayres tucked in. Wilson's just cleared Ricks as well now. So Ricks is back down into ninth, Tom, where he started from the opening lap.
Yeah, because he was dicing with Cullinan and Hefford and he lost momentum, which allowed Ayres and Wilson to get back through. But now he's having to watch the battle go on in front of him as we see Ralph Cullinan get a little bit of a nudge from Jamie Ayres through Paddock Hill Bend, but he's still there. It's Cullinan right in the fight. And you can just see Colin Sanson, who is the leader of the AMS so far, having a nice watch of the battle that is going on ahead in the pros. And we want to see whether Pete Newman has lost... He's lost another place, says Newman, to Dan Hunt now.
He has there for Pete Newman. However, he has just claimed it back. So Newman takes it back on the left-hander here of Surtees down through Pilgrim's Rise. It's going to be a drag race. We've got the DOF on the left-hand side in the red and white. We've got the blue, white and yellow of Pure Sims with Tom Griffiths in the blue and green behind him. PBG's running away out in front at this moment in time. Wilson, Cullinan, Ollie Ricks and Colin Sanson all in here and they're still fighting it out. Further down we've got Siddons, Littler and McLean. Siddons and Littler are side by side. We're coming into Westfield now. It is Littler, Siddons on the inside. Great job from her getting that move done over Andy Littler. Darren McLean's escaped down the road a little bit, but it's battle here. Whoa! It's ended up in like that.
Yeah, it's Cullinan. It's Cullinan and Wilson have come together at Sterling's, and that is the race over, unfortunately, for Ralph Cullinan right there and then.
You can see here on board the chopper. Comes across, Cullinan squeezing him and Wilson to get hooked together. And unfortunately for Ralph, he has gone round on that one. And Craig, I would say surprise, because he hasn't been round that often, but it is Ralph Cullinan, and we do know anything could happen with him, as Dan Hunt is just about to get up in the inside of PVG and retake that lead.
Yeah, great move there up the inside going into Druids. Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell from that angle who was fully to blame there. It does look a bit like Cullinan was coming across and might have squeezed him a little bit too much. But yeah, it's racing, and when you're racing at a track like this, so close together, little incidents like that are going to happen. So you've got to pick yourself up and carry on.
Yeah, we'll see what Ralph's going to be able to do, sitting down in 15th at this moment in time in last place. Newman, PVG, nose to tail, coming into the right-hander of Hawthorns now. It is going to be Newman in that 118 machine. The Momo of PVG's got no help this time. Steve Hefford is there. Jamie Ayres is there. He is all on his lonesome. It is the single loners up the front at the moment. The only driver of DOF, Dan Hunt. The only driver of Pure Sims, Pete Newman. The only driver for himself is Mr. Tom Griffiths. And then, of course, we've got the team driver of Momo, PVG, but he is all on his own as well. Through the left-hander of Sterling's, they go. Dan Hunt still holding on to the lead. Pete Newman in second place. PVG trying as hard as he can here, Tom, to push Newman along, but not quite being able to get there at the moment. And good evening, Phil, with evening, James and Tom. And yes, we do have Craig up here in the booth as a last minute. I haven't put him in the description because I didn't know he was joining me, Phil, on that one till about 5 minutes before we went live. So I haven't quite got there. PVG's gone round. PVG has gone round there. Oh, unfortunately for the Dutchman, he is off, and I'm going to say that's carrying far too much speed. Coming in behind Pete Newman, that back end does end up slipping round on him. And round he goes, and PVG, oh, Tom Griffiths just about avoided him, Tom. And PVG, unfortunately, now down in 11th.
Well, Tom Griffiths does deserve all the credit for getting out of the way there, because that could have been curtains for him. He's still there chasing after Dan Hunt and Pete Newman for race number 1 victory. We've got 6 minutes to go in this first race. I'd probably say after this lap we've got a maximum of 4 to go, but we'll see how quickly the drivers can get round. But we've got a fight for the lead, that's for certain.
Yeah, we definitely have Pete Newman and Dan Hunt there battling down through Dingle Dell. Hunt in the DOF, Newman in the Pure Sims. Up the other side they come round the right-hander of Sheens. It is Dan Hunt, your leader, coming into Sterling's left-hander. Job done for Hunt. Can he hold it on the exit? Over the curb he goes. He does manage to keep it on track. Ollie Ricks fighting now up 3 places in 6th place with Jamie Ayres and Steve Hefford. Colin Sampson ahead of Mr. Wilson, who got involved obviously with Ralph Cullinan. And then you've got Charles Kellerman, Darren McLean and PVG with Colin Sampson leading the classification at this moment in time and doing a great job. But we've got Ayres, we've got Steve Hefford, we've got Ricks, and Ricks has got nowhere to go here, Craig. They're kind of teaming up on him, taking that too wide approach, blocking off the racetrack. Ollie, the only way he's going to have it, Craig, is send it 3 wide and hope for the best.
Yeah, and that is literally the only way you can do it with the Momo boys. They are masters at working together as a team, particularly in trains for draft and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, when you've got 2 Momo cars in front of you, it's a really challenging task to get by them. There's only one thing worse, and that's having 2 Momo cars behind you as well, because it's only going to be a matter of when, not if, and they're going to pounce.
Yeah, they are, but Ricks is settling in there behind at the moment. He's having a good old go, is Ollie Ricks. Steve Hefford in front of us there as well. Phil says, sorry, evening, Craig. That's what happens when you come in here late. It is, Phil. Cough, cough, no excuse. Ricks is carried to speed now. He's going to be looking at the right-hander into Westfield. It takes the inside curve as much as he can. Open it up on the exit, down through Dingle Dell. Ollie Ricks, Steve Hefford, Ayres, all in front. Now the right-hander of Sheens coming into Sterling's, the left-hander. Is Ricks going to be able to get Hefford here? Nope, too far back. Looking at the dip in the left-hander, and he gets a good run out. Is he going to be able to make progress forward at the moment? 3 attempts back. That draft is not really helping him. Over the curb he goes, gets the rotation now. Ollie Ricks is going to have a little bit of a run coming down into Paddock Hill. Is he going to be able to get him this time? Still coming down to 2 attempts at the moment. It's trickling down here, Tom. That draft is not actually doing a lot here.
No, definitely not. You just see how, just focus on how Ollie Ricks is in the slipstream throughout corner to corner, and the slipstream isn't as effective until you get right up to the gearbox of the car in front.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Dan Hunt and Pete Newman further up ahead, I think they're closer, those two, compared to where this battle lies. You can see Ayres running so far out wide on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, as is Steve Hefford and Ollie Ricks. That's how hard they are pushing. But we're looking at Pete Newman now, who's closing on Dan Hunt for the lead as he goes underneath the bridge of Pilgrim's Drop, and this is Hawthorne, so they're heading through now, and you can see Newman's not close enough. The draft is not very effective around this circuit.
No, so he was under 2 attempts that one, and he still did not even get anywhere near him. Through the right-hander of Westfield, down Dingle Dell, up the other side, coming out of Sheens now. Newman, Hunt, so been battling away for a long while, and they're still fighting since Hunt took the lead off Newman. I think it was back on lap 4, I believe. Hunt then took the mantle at the front and has leading us away under the Van Bridge. They go through the right hand or a Clark. Newman still settled in behind him, not really making progresses forward here currently. Is there a strategy, Craig, that Newman's got to have? Because at the moment, whatever he's trying, he can't get close to Hunt.
I see. I know Pete Newman quite well. He sometimes sits in with us on the chats and stuff like that. If I reckon he's just sat there, he's trying to figure out Hunt. He's trying to think out where his weaknesses are on the track, where he's slower than Pete. I reckon we will see a move at some point. He's just biding his time. Time is running out though, so he's going to have to make it soon. But yeah, you just watch. I'm sure we will see a move any time now.
Well, Pete Newman hasn't got long to be blatantly honest. He's got this one and one more. It's going to be a 10-lap race. Here they go on the run down Pilgrim's Drop. This has got to be Newman's opportunity. Otherwise, he's going to struggle in through the last set of corners here. After this one, there is literally going to be about 7 corners remaining for Pete Newman. He's carrying a lot of speed through Hawthorns. Now we're going down the short Derek Minter straight into the right-hander of Westfield. Still tucking in right behind him, Newman. He can't seem to get close. He's got to carry a lot more speed up through Sheens, the right-hander, than down Hunt. Is he going to be able to do it? No. Into the left-hander of Sterling's. This has got to be it from him. Is he going to be able to do it on this one? He's not. It's still not close enough, Tom. And we think this is going to be mightily close, whether or not they're going to make it one more lap.
Yeah, they will do, James. I checked the lap times, and they crossed over the line at 1 minute 45 last time around, and they're doing lap times of 1 minute 37 and 38. So yes, they will go over the line, and the white flag will be waved.
6 seconds. He's going to try the outside line. He's going to cut back on him. He'll cut back on him. Hunt's got to tighten it up. He's going to lose loads of speed. Dan Hunt, he takes to the inside line. Newman's going to run him around the outside. This will give Newman the inside for Graham Hill. If he can just hang it around there, keep your nose in. Don't let him cover you off. He hasn't let him cover him off. The 118 is going to be able to take that inside line. Is he going to be able to get the position away from Hunt? He's not. They're going to come out side by side. Going into the left-hander of Surtees. Newman's got to send it. There ain't no lies. There ain't no joke. He's just got to put it in. He's got to lick that stamp, whack it in the corner and send it through as they carry on side by side here. Down through Pilgrim's Rise again. Line by side. Newman just dropping back a little bit. Hunt's going to be able to take the line. Newman's going to switch back with the overspeed. Coming into the right-hander now as well. It is going to be Pete Newman. No, it's still Dan Hunt. Into the right-hander we go for the final time in through Westfield. Hunt is going to hold on to that lead. Down through Pilgrim's Drop. Coming out there. Down through Dingledale, coming out the other side. Up through Sheens. It's still Hunt holding on. Now the left-hander of Sterling's. Newman's going to have one more opportunity. That's going into Clark Curve. He's not going to get it again. He's never going to get it again. This is it. The final moment for Pete Newman. Get your nose in there, son. You got to sniff harder than a dog on his rear end. Here he goes for Dan Hunt. It's going to be Hunt's going to come over and take the victory in race number 1. Pete Newman's going to grab second. Tom Griffiths is going to grab third. And wow, Craig Jones, what an epic first race there. Battle between Newman and Hunt comes out victorious.
Yeah, I told you it was going to happen. You could see, I just watching Pete Newman, I could see he was just holding back. He was just trying to wait for the perfect moment, trying to weigh him up, see where he could take him. And yeah, that's why we saw him have a go on that final lap. But what a final lap, what a race that was. And as always with the UkSimracers, the amount of respect between these two guys when they're racing is unbelievable. And that's why I like racing it, and that's why we all like watching it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin Sanson wraps up the AM win there as well. Forgot about them guys coming over the line. So Colin Sanson grabs first, Charles Kellerman gets second, and Darren McLean gets third. Here are the results from race number 1. Dan Hunt is your winner. Pete Newman in second, Tom Griffiths in third, with Jamie Ayres in fourth, Steve Hefford fifth, Ollie Ricks in sixth place. Then you got Colin Sanson, the winner of the AMs, with Jamie Wilson separating him from Charles Kellerman and Darren McLean, who wrapped up second and third. PVG in 11th, Ralph Cullinan down in 12th. Obviously, both men having their own little bit of ta-ta-tas and their own little bit of dramas. Fiona Siddons having a great battle with Alan Tudor, coming in 13th and 14th, and then Andy Littler down in 15th place. That was an absolutely mighty final lap there, Tom. Newman tried, he couldn't get there, he tried again, running side by side for the first half of the lap, just couldn't carry on that momentum around the last half.
Well, he'll also be thinking about what happened last week at Donington when they came together in a couple of races in the closing stages. So he knew that he didn't want to take too many risks and losing points as a consequence. So I think second place may feel a little bit, it may feel like something to him to be despondent about, but he's made it to second and not further down the order.
Well, yeah, I suppose on the highlights on that one, he's finished the race, right? He's finished the race. He's taken points. Still going to keep him in and around the top of that championship for the autumn, you know. And more importantly, in that one, he took points out of PBG, Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres, Ollie Ricks, and Wilson. So under that kind of thing for him as well, that's not a bad run for him, Tom, taking points out of the drivers in and around him at the championship. It was literally Dan Hunt who was the winner, and he's down in ninth at the moment, already 128 points back from Newman. So, you know, for Pete Newman, second, still not bad. Only loses points to the person who's 8 places behind him in the championship.
Yep, I would say so. And there's a long season still to go. We've got 9 more rounds to come after this one at Brands. And we're just in the middle of the warm-up session before race 2 gets underway. It's the top 9 reversed for race number 2. I didn't quite pick up on who was 9th overall, James, so you may have to remind me on who is line up on reverse grid poll for then. And
Charles
it is
Kellerman.
Charles Kellerman. Yep, not for the first time this season. Charles Kellerman will lead from the front, and hopefully Colin Sanson does not jump the start.
Well, yeah, that's what we have seen before as well here. Craig, you know, I would say you found yourself on the front row a few times, and, you know, we won't mention Silverstone where you went completely the wrong way, of course. But what is it like sitting on the front row knowing that you've got all of these fast guys behind us?
I used to hate it. I used to dread it. When we used to do the good old days where we had a spinny wheel with various numbers, you'd spin the wheel and whatever number it landed on, that's how they would reverse the grid. And you would watch the wheel and you'd be just sort of partially looking through your eyes because you didn't really want to know the result. So it was daunting, but actually that's where I learned the most about racecraft and the most about where to, you know, racing with the guys at the front that were quicker than me. You do pick up a lot from that. So it's a little bit of a baptism of fire, but it's well worth it in the journey of in sort of your own development of racecraft and speed. So yeah, these days obviously I don't find myself at the front naturally, which is a bit unfortunate. So the odd reverse grid where I do end up, yeah, I'm quite comfortable out there. Obviously in these cars I've kind of raced and didn't race for a bit, kind of came back and then didn't race for a little bit longer after that. So I need to get some more driving seat time back on these cars, and I'll be back up there at the front before we know it. That's the plan anyway.
It's easy for Craig to do when he's on the front row. Just follow him at Silverstone. It'll take you in a completely opposite direction as well. Yeah. Just it'll gain you places, but it'll take the first 10 to the left when you're supposed to be going right. Let's put it that way. Not that that's ever happened to you, Craig, is it?
Do you know what? I'm surprised it took to the end of race 1 for you to bring that up. I thought that would be you know, you'd bring it up, but a lot sooner than that. But look, it happens to the best of us. I've spoken to lots and lots of racing drivers in real life and not in real life on sim racing, and not one of them have ever done it. So, it is just me, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah. You know, I own it.
Yeah, not many people have driven around the wrong way out of Silverstone, but we've got the only celebrity in the booth that has done that, and that is Mr. Craig Jones, of course. Let's bring you up the grid for race number 2. If people don't know what we're talking about, well, I'll find the video. I'm sure somebody out there has got the video of our very own Mr. Jones taking half the field the wrong way round Silverstone. So, yeah, great job from him. Charles Kellerman leading us away on pole there with Jamie Wilson in second, Colin Sampson in third, Ollie Ricks 4th, Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres, Tom Griffiths, Pete Newman, Dan Hunt, and then Darren McLean. And we've got PBG and Ralph Cullinan down in 12th. Fiona Siddons, Sir Alan Toon, Andy Littler rounding out this 15-strong car field. I read it quite quickly because they do get onto the grid very, very quickly after that warm-up. Just waiting for Pete Newman, Sir Alan Toon on this one before we get this race over and done. We will take a short break after this next 15-minute race. Normally around about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will be back for the complete random reverse race 3, and we will be able to tell you the reverse of race 4 a little bit later. So here we go. Ready for the lights. to come on. And there they are at the top of your screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lights out. That was a quick lights out as well. Who's managed to hold on to that one? Well, I can tell you one thing. Charles Kellerman got it off the line. Jamie Wilson did not as much. And he's got Colin Sanson alongside him. And they're going to be leading 3 wide with Steve Hefford under the Carlu Bridge. They go. Hefford's got that inside line. Wilson's trying to run around the outside of Charles Kellerman. Is he going to be able to make it work? He's going to have the inside for the left-hander of Graham Hill. Wilson is going to pick it up here. He's done a great job. He ran around the outside of Druids route past Charles Kellerman and literally has now taken the inside. Wilson takes the lead. Kellerman's got to get in. You've got to get in because Hefford's going to try and go underneath you as well. You cannot be off the line. Pete Newman looks like he's had an incident in the back with Fiona Siddons, Andy Littler. All of them 3 look like they've been involved in some form of little ta-ta-ta here. Kellerman is chasing him down under Hawthorns. I would say everybody got through cleanly, Tom, but it looks like Pete Newman, PVG, Fiona Siddons and Andy Littler did not.
Well, we'll need to get a replay of the incident involving Pete Newman because he went round at Surtees' corner. I didn't quite see the contact. I just knew that I saw some smoke coming, pillowing out. Well, I say pillowing out. It was some tyre smoke when he was spinning around at Surtees. Was Pete Newman, and he's found himself with it all to do in the remainder of this race to salvage anything. Jamie Wilson into the lead then, with Charles Kellerman, the leader of the AM, and second place on the road. And we've got Tom Griffiths, who's managed to find his way up to 3rd position. He was 8th on the grid, was Griffiths, because he finished 3rd. Oh no, he was 7th on the grid, I should say. He was 3rd in race number 1, and he's made his way up into 3rd position. We're going to get a replay then of the incident involving Pete Newman. So you can just see he was close to Jamie Ayres there. In fact, Jamie Ayres turns in on him.
Oh, there's Siddons straight into the front. The little bit I am worried about here for Pete Newman isn't that when he goes past Ayres, watch his front left. Colin Sanson, watch that left. It creases up like he's had contact, and he never actually touched Colin Sanson. However, he did get smacked into after that from Fiona Siddons. Wilson, Griffiths, Hefford, Ricks. Kellerman is in the barrier. Unfortunately for Charles Kellerman, he is in the barrier here. And what has he got himself up to? Alongside Ollie Ricks at the moment, coming into the left-hander or Surtees. Was there contact? More contact with Ayres. It looks like Ayres is getting himself caught up in a few things here this evening. And Kellerman is, well, he's out. He's going to be out on that one. Looks like his car is broken. Jamie Ayres, Dan Hunt in 4th and 5th. Gary Walsh trying to stick up for Mr. Jones. However, he never did. As Gary said, he didn't do it live on the old YouTube, the one that's there forever for everybody to see, for everybody's rest of their lives, and gonna make him famous after completely going the wrong way. But let's pick up on what's happening. Hefford, Ayres, Hunt, they're all running now as well under the Van Bridge into the right-hander of Clark. Ayres takes it in front of Hefford. Hunt's going to try and go underneath, is he, on this one? He's going to try it down on. He's going to try it. He's going to have that inside line. He's picked up what draft there is, and there ain't a lot of Jamie Ayres in front, and he manages to clear Steve Hefford as well. Chaotic start, Craig, to race 2. Kind of happens when everybody's in that reverse grid position.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just sense the energy's changed in this race dramatically from what we saw in race 1.
Really... contact. Sorry to interrupt you, Craig. There was an accident at the back on the exit of Druids involving Ollie Ricks.
Yeah, I think it was Ollie Ricks in the back coming out of Druids there as well. And he's alongside PVG. Colin Sanson's in there. Was there any contact? There was. It was off PVG. Ricks goes shooting into the barrier, and unfortunately for him, that is his race 2 done there. Jamie Ayres still in the mix with Dan Hunt nestled in behind him. Hunt's going to go up the inside into Hawthorns. That's that job done. First 5 minutes down, next 10 minutes on the clock. We've got Wilson, Griffiths, Hunt, Ayres and Hefford. And you are right, Craig. The energy's picked itself up here for race number 2.
Yeah, it certainly has, and this is the sort of energy that we like. That's what we love to watch. I love driving in it as well. Providing I've not gone the wrong way at this point, obviously. I thought I'd say it before you do, James. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. This one, I really think we're going to see a lot of fighting throughout the field. The front two in Wilson and Griffith, they seem to have got a little bit of a gap. The further that they keep battling like this, though, the sooner that train behind them is going to catch up to them, and we're going to see even more battles.
Yeah, Griffith's in the inside there. He takes the lead away. He set him up through Clark, did Griffiths. Wilson's going to come back up under the run here through Pilgrim's Rise into Druids. Wilson's going to hold on. He needs to muscle Griffiths off. The train have caught up. You are right there, Mr. Jones. They have caught up already. These two having a right little ding-dong. Griffiths is back at it. Wilson's got to cover the inside off. He's not going to be able to. I don't think he's going to be able to get in there at the moment. He's not. Hunt's going to come through. Try and take 2 for 1. Ayres is in there as well. Coming towards us now. There you go. All the cars go through. Griffiths, blue and green. Team Chimera behind him and Mr. Wilson. Dio F Reality, red and white of Dan Hunt. Momo tucked in there. Colin Sanson leading the AMs once more. Now we're going to go through the right-hander of Hawthorns. It is going to be Griffiths. Wilson's holding on, but he's running side by side with Hunt at the moment. Now through Westfield they go. It looks like Hunt. Oh, Wilson's gone round. Oh, no for Jamie Wilson. Was that all on his own, or was there contact? Well, time's going to tell, and we're going to find out very, very shortly. Not from there, though, mind you. Oh,
He gets nudged from behind.
I think Ayres gives him a little bit of a push there. Jamie Ayres is finding himself in the fracas this evening, shall we say. And unfortunately for this young man, there might be a little bit of a recap of looking in the mirror this evening, because he's got himself involved in a couple of little battles in race number 1, a couple of battles in race 2 that's ended up with people in various barriers around this circuit, and there was another one there as well. So yeah, I think that Jamie Ayres here, Tom, during the break, take some self-reflection.
Well, yeah, he'll need to have a little bit of a thing and a drink afterwards. Not an alcoholic drink, just like a drink of water or something, just to wind down on what has been going on involved in it, because he's been involved in quite a number of incidents, not just in this race, but maybe in race 1 is coming to blows with one person or another. But we've now got a fight for the lead again between Tom Griffiths and Dan Hunt, who are looking to go toe-to-toe here as they come towards the right-hander of Hawthorns.
Yeah, Hunt trying to go around the outside. Oh, yay.
Sweet as you like.
Yeah. Great move from Dan Hunt around the outside of Griffiths. Griffiths gets an opposite lock on at that moment. It's going to bring in Ayres now. Griffiths is going to cover the inside into Sheens. Not an ideal moment. He wants to get back on the racing line. He does. Now down into the left-hander we go of Sterling's. Hunt, Griffiths, Ayres, Hefford, Sanson, and even PVG is on the back of Sanson here. But it's going to be what the IRL man himself, driver, Mr. Griffiths, is going to be able to do here as he's chasing down Dan Hunt. Not long left here, Craig. You know, Griffiths is going to be looking at trying to attack and defend all at the same time. Not an easy skill to master.
No, it's a little bit different to what we saw from the first race with this battle at the front, because there's much more cars involved. And yeah, you're right. Every time you try to go to make a move on the guy in front, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to the guy behind. So you really do have to pick your moves carefully. And I wouldn't like to be him at this point. Like you said, time is going to start ticking away. So it's going to start running out, and you're going to have to start making it's basically comes down to crunch time. Make the move, don't make the move, but you've got to watch that. Watch what is happening going on behind you, because as soon as you do, they're going to be pouncing like hungry tigers.
Yeah, absolutely there for Tom Griffiths, who drives in the BRCC Mazda MX5 Super Cup, of course, and he drives in that coloured machine he has got there. And does a great job in that, as much as he does here as well. But Hunt leading the way, Griffiths, Ayres and Hefford in behind. We've got 5 minutes on the clock now, Tom. How is Tom Griffiths going to be able to handle this with Jamie Ayres closing in, Hefford closing in? He wants to go forward. He's got to protect his back end at the same time. A lot of ebbing and flowing for Tom Griffiths. He's almost got to put his head as an owl at the moment, swivel it round in 360s, because he's got a lot of people in and around him, and one mistake's going to cost him here as well at Brands.
Well, he can't afford to risk too much, Tom Griffiths, at this early stage. He's had a good start to the season on the back of his performance at Snitterton and in Donington. But now he's got the chance to go for a victory here at Brands Hatch. And he's also got another problem that he needs to fend off, and that's Jamie Ayres.
No, absolutely not an easy thing to do, of course, for Mr. Ayres to be able to be behind him. He's got him trying to find his way round Griffiths. Griffiths is defending hard, which was kind of expected. But is he going to be able to get Mr. Hunt? That's going to be the question. I don't know how easy this is going to be. And you can see from Jamie Ayres' card just how close he is to Griffiths. Well, he is that close to Tom Griffiths. He's going to be closing in under the bridge once more, and that run down now into the right-hander of Hawthorns. Here we go. Is it going to be Ayres? Griffiths gives a little bit of dab at the brakes there, Craig, managing to hold on to the position, but for how much longer is he going to be able to hold on for it for?
Yeah, it looks like no one really wants to make that move, do they, at the moment? You've got Jamie Ayres sitting waiting perhaps for something to kick off in front of him. You've got Tom maybe waiting for Hunt to make a mistake and make a pounce. I think everyone's just waiting to see how this one plans out. No one seems to be overcommitting to it. A little bit of a mistake there, which has made the gap increase ever so slightly. So he's going to have to try and claw that back. But yeah, at the moment, no one's really showing a lot of fight in them, are they?
No, definitely not. Well, apart from, as we say that, Tom Griffiths is showing fight. He is going now with Mr. Hunt. He pulls out, gives Hunt something to think about. Nothing doing there at the moment. So great to drive here from Dan Hunt under the Carlo Bridge, round the right-hander in Druids. Hunt and Griffiths seems to have been stuck together like Velcro all the way through this one, Tom. And still, Griffiths is where he is.
Well, yeah, and I wonder what he's thinking, like going into the last few laps here, and they're just riding over those curves, and Ron O'Farrell won't want to be doing that too many times, because we know that drivers can receive slowdowns for cutting corners or exceeding track limits around racetracks. But now Griffiths has got good drive actually out of 30s. He may just give Hunt a little bit of a sniff here.
Yeah, maybe on that one. They're going to be able to get there. Griffiths looks like he's going to try and take that move around the inside into the right-hander. Nothing doing. He just gets squeezed enough there, Craig, to give him for Dan Hunt, should I say, to give Tom something to think about, doesn't he? Hunt just gives him a little bit of squeeze, you know, and doesn't quite allow him to get the run that Tom's trying to get here.
Yeah, it's still very respectful, though. Really difficult to make a move around that corner. You're much better waiting for the next corner, in my opinion, on that one. Maybe try and use that original corner to get the run out. But yeah, it was a little bit of a squeeze, but yeah, still respectful, still within the rules. It's a cracking little battle so far.
Yeah, and they are still going on here. Steve Hefford in with Jamie Ayres. These boys obviously from the same team of Momo, with PVG in behind there as well. Griffiths is not giving up at this moment in time. He's chasing Hunt. Now we're going to have one more lap after this one. And at the moment here, Tom, Griffiths is just stuck. What can he do here?
I don't know whether he's running out of ideas or whether he has the idea of what he's going to do, but he's just willing to allow Hunt to just remain in front for now. But we've got a battle between the Momo boys of Ayres, Hefford and Gull for third place, the last step on the pro podium. And you can see Hefford on the tail of Ayres as they go through 30s for the penultimate time in this race. This could get very, very tasty and quite stressful for the Momo team.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if all three of them can finish like they did last week, like they did the week before, of course, but this time they're not in the lead. This is for third, fourth and fifth. This is going to be is this going to be a go for it situation between Ayres, between Hefford, between PVG? Is there going to be team orders, Craig? Is it going to be as they are to get points, or are they really not going to be worried about that and just absolutely purely going for it?
I can guarantee the Momo boys are not doing anything like team orders. They are absolutely going for it, and that's absolutely how it should be. Everyone's out there on track. They're all racing against each other. That's how it should be. And that's what you're going to see with the Momo boys.
Yeah, I do fully agree. I think they should there as well. PVG looking at the inside at the moment. Still can't quite get through. Griffiths can't get through on Hunt. Cullinan's chasing Sanson here. Can't get through. Not quite sure what Cullen Sanson is doing with the little jiggle wiggle, but we're on the final lap. No, they're not. They've crossed over.
That's it. Yeah, that was the final lap.
What? It was a 10-lap race. Or should have been a 10-lap race. Okay. Well, that completely caught me off guard. And by the sounds, it caught all of us up here in the booth off guard.
Well, I'm just looking on the graphic when they went through Dingledell, the Momo boys, and there was 30 seconds left on the clock, and so it changed to a checkered graphic, which is wrong in my opinion, but sometimes that's just the way it goes in iRacing.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for not being able to bring you up. That's what happened at the end. Hunt did come over the line with Sanson. Hefford did lose the place to Ayres. Hefford comes over in fourth, PVG and behind that. Sanson did take the victory as well, so great job from him. But it's thrown us for a little bit of a spin up here in the booth. Let's bring you up the results for race number 2. Dan Hunt is going over in first place. He does take the victory. Tom Griffiths in second. And then we've got Jamie Ayres in third. Then Steve Hefford, PVG, Colin Sanson in the AMS. Ralph Cullinan and McLean takes his second podium of the evening. Colin Sanson wraps up his second win of the night. Andy Littler in third in the AMS. 7th overall with Sir Alan Toon, Fiona Siddons, Pete Newman, Charles Kellerman, Ollie Ricks, and of course, no Mr. Craig Jones. Right, we're going to take a short break now, guys. We'll be back very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us, and we'll see you after the break. Good evening, and ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here with the UK SimRacers race number 3, complete random reverse. I'm still James Parfitt, and I'm still joined up in the booth by Mr. Tom Kent, and I'm still joined by Mr. Craig Jones, who's come along for the evening to join us up here in the booth. Once again, thank you so much for being here. If you are still here, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing, as we've got 13 minutes of practice, which generally means about 3 minutes before we advance the grid. And as you can see, it is a wet race here. Tom, race 1 and race 2 didn't disappoint, and now we've decided we're going to bring rain in race number 3.
Well, it's going to bring another spanner into the mix. Drivers will be getting as much practice as possible in these conditions. Ralph Clinton has most certainly got some mileage out there in these conditions that could come in handy later. How is the rain going to be advantageous to some? Well, we've seen what Ollie Ricks can do, and of course last week at Donington with that unbelievable wet race that we saw very few finishers getting to the end. I don't really know what this race is going to bring. We just don't know.
No, definitely not on there as well. Craig, as the driver, how is it being out there in the rain in the MX5s?
What I can tell you is I can give you some inside knowledge on what happened last week. So intent that the actual session was meant to be set up as a dry session, with everyone intending to go out on slick tyres, and for it to rain, spot rain, in the last few laps of the race, which apparently you can work on slick tyres. They will last for that amount of time before it starts pouring down. But for whatever reason, the session didn't land like that, and it was actually pouring down with rain. So you would have seen a few cars struggling to begin with in those opening laps, because they were on slick tyres, because they were told it was going to be a dry race. So not sure how they've set this session up, whether they're going to be trying anything like that, but it certainly didn't happen last week, and it was a really, really wet race at Donington. A lot of fun to drive, a bit chaotic, but I have to say, this is the first time I've done commentary since they've launched the rain, and they've done an absolutely incredible job of it. It is so realistic. It feels just like driving a normal car in the wet, if you're just sort of on your local roads and stuff like that. They have really, I'm happy that it took them so long to release it, because it is so good. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it has been definitely a game changer here of this as well. And you can see it's been raining. You can see it's dry now. It's not raining at this moment in time. So we'll have to see what it does when it flicks over. Oh, you're saying that, as I say that, there's a slight little spot on Jamie Ayres there, Dan Hunt, sorry. You can see he had the window wipers going for a brief moment. So hold on to your hats on this one, guys, because I think this is going to be a very, very eventful race, and one that I'm sure these guys are going to love here at the Rain. PVG in the YouTube chat. Sorry again, Ollie, after contact there with Ollie Ricks. But we'll keep an eye on the weather situation and see whether or not it changes over. But for Dan Hunt, off into the gravel trap. It's never good on that one, with the old rain rooster tail sticking coming out the back there. Everybody who's out at the moment is on rain tyres, apart from Ollie Ricks is on dries, hence he's doing that. That's never a good look. Colin Sanson's gone out on dries as well. Not entirely sure why you would think about doing that, as he's done the same thing that Ollie Ricks has done. And Fiona Siddons is on dries and tiptoes round and does the same thing as they've done. So really, this is probably saying, Tom, don't be on dry tyres.
Yeah, so I think a lot of them will be trying to see whether the slicks are still good enough around this course, and clearly they are not. I think some of them will want to make sure they don't do the same mistake as last week, because some of them ended up on slick tyres and it was too late for them to change onto wets when they needed to.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get this one done. We're just waiting for the advancement of the session to see what goes on here as well, and whether or not we're going to keep with the rain kind of scenario. It can change, that's the problem here. And well, kind of expect it to. Jamie Ayres is out on dry, so is Jamie Wilson. Both of these are going to struggle, I think. You see Wilson there having to brake exceptionally hard to get that car rotated. Does he come round? No, he is literally trickling round that corner, and I think it's a wet race. Jamie Ayres struggling. He's off the side of the circuit. So again, probably not best to be on these dry tyres on this one. Craig, I did my first wet running the other day in a car. I was in a Corvette at the time in the GT3s. You know, not as nimble, should we say, as these little MX5s. How much is it that you've got to be on it for rain? You know, extending your braking points, making sure that you can get the car stopped and rotated.
They are a nightmare to drive in the rain, and I think that's why I'm saying that the job that iRacing have done is just so good. You just literally have to be so careful on the throttle, on the brakes, on your turning points. I mean, there was a point at Donington last week where I hit a massive puddle on the left just into turn 1, and I just aquaplaned, and that was it. I was off the track. There's so much to think about when it's raining. It's unbelievable. It's fantastic to watch, and it's fantastic to drive in.
All right, here is the grid for race number 3. It is Dan Hunt out on pole position, Pete Newman in second, and Andy Littler in third. Tom Griffiths, Jamie Ayres, Fiona Siddons, Alan Toon, Ralph Cullen and Colin Sanson, PVG, Darren McLean and Jamie Wilson. They're getting on the grid quite thick and fast here. Darren McLean there, Jamie Wilson in 12th, Steve Evans 13th, Ollie Ricks and Charles Kellerman at the back end of that one. But we're going to be led away from the DOF reality of Dan Hunt. We'll be taking up pole position, and I can tell you now it's a mixed field of wet and dries at the moment. Tom Griffiths is on dry tyres, so is Fiona Siddons. Oh man, this is going to be an interesting race. That's the spread currently of wet and dries. Wets in blue, dries on white. Who's going to be able to survive? Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Ladies and gentlemen, round 3, race number 3 is green, green, green. The dries are spinning up. You can see Sir Alan Toon did not get off the line. He's on dry tyres. This turn number 1 for Tom Griffiths is going to be hairier than a buffoon on this one, and it is hairy. He's all out of shapes at this moment in time. He's going down the order. Steve Evans as well. The dry tyre runners have literally plummeted, but Steve Evans was on the wets and he got caught up with Ralph Cullinan, I believe, as well. Tom Griffiths is the only dry tyre runner still running in the front end of the field. Ollie Ricks is still there, but he's tiptoeing, belly dancing around Brands Hatch on the dries here. Not a good idea on the dry tyres, Tom. I still believe it was probably wet enough for the wets.
Well, yeah, I think Ricks might actually be on wets, you know, just looking through on the classification at the moment.
Yeah, sorry, it's Tom Griffiths that's on the dries.
Yeah, so Tom Griffiths is the highest man in the field on the dries, but it's just whether can he keep it on the island and hope for the water to disperse quickly enough to see if he can get back into the zone. But the longer he remains on the dries, they're going to be past their best.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. On that one, you see some of this. I'll try and pick up on some. I want to see what happened to Ralph Cullinan and Steve Hepburn here as well. Cullinan on the dries, he just goes down into loses it into Hefford, who comes across there. Steve Hefford, and unfortunately puts himself in the barrier. Dry tyres, Craig, not a good idea by the looks of it.
I'm so glad you chose to go to Tom for that first bit and not me, because I was in fits of laughter watching that, because I could just hear the conversations that must have been going on with my teammates based on what I heard last time. And should I go out on dry? Should I go out on wet? And clearly they made some decisions that they're going to deeply be regretting now. So yeah, that was quite funny to watch, to see some of that. But that's again how good it is. It's literally you make that wrong decision and you're going to pay the price for it, unfortunately. And that's what some of the drivers have done, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Tom Griffiths has done as well. He's on the dry tyres. He's gone off. Wilson's behind on the dries. Andy Littler's in the wet. So I would have thought Littler should be able to get up. Look at Wilson. Tokyo drifted the car through. Hold it. Oh, he just misses Littler there. I'm sure Andy's got a new paint scheme this week. I'm sure his roll bar wasn't that colour last week. And it looks like all the dries, Wilson, Cullen and Atoon, never a good idea. They are going to be sliding around like anybody's business on them dry tyres. But Dan Hunt leading the way with Pete Newman here as well. These guys out in front. It's the wet runners at the front of the table with the dry runners behind him. Fiona Siddons has found herself at the front of the amp, sitting in 5th overall. Ollie Ricks is in the background trying to chase her down, and it's all going off on this grid. But it is Pete Newman and Dan Hunt having the lead battle. Ricks has just gone off as well at the Sheens. Just managed to hold on here, did Ollie Ricks, but it is Dan Hunt, Pete Newman fight out at the front here, Tom, and it literally dries at the back, wets at the front. Clearly wets was the right choice.
Yeah, and how quickly can they get rid of the water? That's the only thing. You can see there's still some cars in it, and that's Darren McLean, who's coming back out on wet tyres presumably, but his race is as good as done by the looks of it. And now he's just got to hope that all of those on the wets start falling away, which they're not going to do anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be falling away as long as there's a wet track. They're still going to be okay, and they still aren't going to have a problem. It's not going to really change. The spray coming off Hunt at the moment, 10 minutes remaining. I don't think they're going to get rid of these tyres quick enough. I don't think they're going to disperse the rain quick enough here, Craig. I think this is going to be 10 minutes on wet tyres.
Yeah, and I've not. If it does dry out, I'm led to believe that the tyres are actually not too bad. So if you're on wet tyres but a drying track, it still doesn't hurt. It obviously does hurt you in terms of time against a dry tyre. But I think in this scenario, they've made the right call. They've played the game right, really, and they've rolled the dice and they've won it. So keep it the way it is with the conditions that it is. I think the cars will be absolutely fine, and we're not going to see much change at the front here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Newman, opposite lock in that car there. Newman manages to hold on to it. Fiona Siddons has just lost the place to Ollie Ricks. Not that it matters to her, because obviously she's leading the arms at the moment. Wilson here with Kellerman, both of these guys on dry tyres, just... Well, it's like watching a bad version of Swan Lake at the moment, as both of these guys just tiptoeing around this circuit and, not making the best decision. Fiona Siddons is in the pits, and I'm wondering if that's because of the fact that there was a jump start at the beginning, and Siddons may have been the culprit of that.
I think it was PVG, actually. It was PVG that crept forward.
She goes as well. She goes as well. So,
what a shame.
Yeah, Fiona Siddons into the pit lane, drive-through penalty straight through the other side, comes out, still leading the AMS. Great job, has got the dry tyres of Tom Griffiths in behind her, but it is still Newman and Hunt out in front. Jump starts seem to be a thing this season, Craig, because there seems to be a lot of drivers doing it.
Yeah, and do you know what? I actually I'd done it myself in an official the other day. I had a brilliant qualifying and was right at the front, and went and blown it all by jump starting. So don't know why, but I know a lot of people have experienced jump starts lately. So I don't know if they've changed something ever so slightly, and I don't know, some sort of mind trick, but it is catching a lot of people out.
Yeah, it definitely is. It was PVG also did it on that one, as we said, and Fiona Siddons did it. Ralph Cullinan has had a very dramatic moment in this MX5. Through the left-hander he goes here. Off the side, he's going to be going around in a circle. He's still on dry tyres. Darren McLean has crashed multiple times. I'm counting at least 5 or 6 times. And again, he's another one that's on dry tyres. He's now into the pit lane after his latest one. There he goes, just running wide. This is the latest one of Darren McLean, and I'm going to pretty much predict it's going to be a carbon copy of Ralph Cullinan's one. And there you go, around he goes, unfortunately for Darren. And just, never a good idea. Jump straight back to the pits. Obviously, we've got Steve Hefford in the pit lane as well as Darren McLean. We've still got Sir Alan Tooney's in now. Colin Sanson's out on the wet tyres, took a pit stop to get on to the wet tyres. It's chasing down Cullen and Kellerman. Wilson all on dries at this moment in time. Andy Littler on the wets. He's trying to close up to Tom Griffiths, who's on dries. And then the front end of the field, the next 2, 4, 6 spots are all on wet tyres here as well. I don't really want a race dominated by tyre compounds, Tom, and who chose what. But unfortunately, race 3 has become that.
No, I didn't quite get the first part of that question, but it has thrown up a show for the drivers. But Hunt and Newman, just like what we've seen in race 1 earlier on, not coming to blows. Hopefully they won't come to blows this time around in the wet.
Yeah, hopefully they won't. It is Hunt out in front again of these two. He's got 2 victories out of 2 at the moment. So we'll see if he can make a 3 out of 3. You can see the puddle at the top of entry into Sheens as they went through there. A little bit of a splash up, not standing water as such, but just puddles on the track from the way the curbing is. You saw them running over Sheens, it spat out water. So you can see they're still wet at that top part of the circuit. Dan Hunt still holding on to the lead. Newman still tucked in behind him as well, Craig. And these two doing a great job at the moment in this wet to dry Brands Hatch circuit, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what the intention of the doing it this way round. So as I shared with what they tried to do last week with the session, it didn't quite work out the way it was. So I think they're trying to work out. They're still learning how to do it, how to use the rain as a feature in these races as well. Don't remember. So it's it's a work in progress, let's say. So yeah, I think it's going to definitely, if we can have a race where we start off in dries and then end up on the last few laps in the wet, as an example. So pretty much the reverse of what we're seeing here. I think that could really add some spice to sort of the end of some of these races. So, it's been a relatively dictated race because of the tyre choices that the drivers have gone out there. But again, they're going to learn from this. They're going to rove. They're going to adapt. And I'm pretty sure next time out, if we see conditions like this, we're going to see every single car on the wet and not a single car on the dry.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you can see it's caused mass problems with the dry runners being down the back end of the field. But Hunt has opened up about half a second. PVG joined on to the back of Mr. Ayres at the moment through the right hander. Sheen is going to go completely blind, let's not forget. PVG's got to have the window wipers on, and you'll be able to see why he's got the window wipers on there as well. The spray from Mr. Ayres spitting up in his face here, Tom. Difficult to see when it's dry sometimes with people in front of you, but even more difficult when you've got a spray coming off the back end of the car in front.
Absolutely so, and you can see that the wipers can sometimes obstruct your vision a little bit, because it can sort of, what's the word I'm after? That word is trying to get to me at the moment, but we're seeing Gull go for it on Ayres. If you want an update on where Tom Griffiths is on his times on the slicks, he's doing 1 minute 52s, whereas the leaders on the wets are doing 1:46s.
Who's in and around him? Mr. Littler. Littler's doing 1:51s. He should clear Griffiths here as well, I would have thought. Littler's kicking out 3 seconds a lap quicker than Griffiths last time out. So Griffiths is definitely struggling. But again, to the fact he's still on the racetrack, Craig, you've got to give the man a little bit of praise there, where every other dry runner, well, they generally ended up doing pirouettes.
Yeah, I was thinking a few moments ago actually about the drivers that are on the dries. They're getting a masterclass here on how to drive in the rain, really. So, if you can do it in dries on a wet track, then you've pretty much mastered it, haven't you? So, I would certainly be using this as a learning exercise to, a little bit of a practice or a test session, I guess, just to see how far you can push it, particularly on a dry end track. So, it's not all over for these drivers. They're going to be disappointed, obviously, with the positions and the points that they're going to get. But there's definitely some learnings to be made from it.
Yeah, we are. We're going to have 9-lap race just here Newman and Hunt going to go over the line. 1:46 last time out. They are going to cross the line with plenty of time, so it should be 1 and 1 more in this machine, but we'll have to see how they're going to get on. Hunt and Newman topping the front end once more for race number 3. Top 12 reverse for race number 4. Hunt runs a little bit wide. Is Newman going to try and slot in? He's not this time. He's going to close right in around the back end of Druids. And now we're off once more. Down through the left-hander we go with Graham Hill. Dan Hunt holding on to that lead, Tom. Difficult at the moment. Pete Newman closing at a rapid knots and looks to be climbing all over him, but just can't seem to be able to make that move again.
And we've got as close of a battle between Az and Gull for the final podium position in Pro. So we've got 2 brilliant battles hotting up now with only a couple of laps remaining as we see Gull on the tail of Az on the exit of Surtees. They've got a back marker, which they'll be coming up to in a moment. I think that's Charles Kellerman in the way. Hopefully he does not get in the way of the drivers. I think he's got history of that at this track in the summer campaign where Kellerman got in the way of drivers when he was already a few laps behind. He needs to remember not to get in each of us in the way of these 2 here because he's got no business to.
Yeah, he's just got nowhere to go at this moment in time either for Kellerman. He needs to really pull to the right-hand side. Well, he could have done it there, I suppose, but that would have been the ideal place down through Dingle Dell. Get it through Sheens. Don't run him into the corner. There you go. He's let them through now. But Newman and Hunt, well, final lap of the race here. And it is Newman sitting in second, Hunt in first, Craig. Is Newman going to make that move like he tried on the last lap of the race number 2?
Well, if he does what I predicted in race 1, then we are obviously going to see that move now. So again, has he just been doing exactly the same thing that he did to try and find out where the weak spots are, where he's quicker than Hunt and Pounce? So it looks like there's a move going on now. This will put him on the inside down into Graham Hill Bend, so it might not be a bad option to go around the outside there. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, pretty much just been given that corner. It did look like Dan Hunt was just felt like he was beaten and gave that over a little bit too easily in my eyes.
Yeah, he definitely did. It looked like he got his belly rubbed a little bit, did Mr. Hunt, and Pete Newman did go through into Graham Hill. PVG and Ayres, however, they're not belly rubbing. They're more elbows out here as well. Mr. Kenny Bourgeois and YouTube chat, Mazda's in the rain, scary. They are doing a great job. Well, you wouldn't have seen that if you've seen this in the start of the race, dear sir. Some of them went out on dries because we haven't got rain. It's a drying track. They did go out on dries, and some of them didn't even get off the line. So yeah, you probably wouldn't have been saying that around about 15 minutes ago here. But Hunt and Newman into the right-hander of Sheens. Newman still out in front. Is Hunt going to be able to get there? Newman's on the grass. He's got to get up that machine off the grass and do it safely. Hunt is nestled in behind him. I think it is going to be Newman who's going to take this. I think Hunt's going to be in second. Ayres might hang on to third, but they are up behind us with PVG. But it is looking like Pete Newman is going to take the victory. Gee whiz, there was a Ralph Cullinan there. And that nearly wasn't Newman's victory. Cullinan just appeared, but Newman's going to go over the line. He's going to take that victory in race number 3. Hunt in second. Jamie Ayres looks like he is going to hang on to that third place. Great job from him. And then Fiona Siddons will be in third in the AMS. Oh, what you're doing? Behave yourself here as well. So Fiona Siddons in that third place. Great job from her on that one, as I've lost all ability on the timing tower at this moment in time. And
sorry to correct you, James.
Quickly.
Sorry to correct you. I think she's the AM winner.
Yeah, she is. She's the AM winner.
Yeah, so that's the first time I've seen Fiona win in the AM class. Very, very well done to her. She absolutely deserved it. Made the right call on the tyres at the beginning, and she has every reason to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Griffiths is going to come over the line. He did manage to stay in front of Andy Littler. So Littler's going to take second in the AM class here. Sanson's going to be in third. I'm hoping when we change over sessions, the timing screen will kick back in, because at the moment I have no ability to bring up anything as Griffiths goes and, well, just does that out of fun, I think, for that one. On that, not a bad race for Craig. Interesting strategy for some. Didn't quite work out for others.
No, I think it's going to go down one of those races where you just want to see the back of it and move on and take the learnings from it. We would have all rather have seen, door-to-door action throughout the field, fighting for those positions, and it not just coming down to tyre choices. But like I said, the admin team are still learning how to use this feature. The drivers are still learning from it. So it's a massive learning curve, and hopefully in the future, we'll see a more consistent race when we have those conditions.
Yeah, hopefully we will on that one. There we go. But managed to get the timing screen back. Thank God, just in time as we change over into race number 4, the final race of the evening. Pete Newman is your winner with Dan Hunt in second, Jamie Ayres in third. Then you got PVG and Ollie Ricks. Fiona Siddons wraps up the first ever win in the AMs. Tom Griffiths there in 7th. Then Andy Littler and Colin Sanson is the AM podium. Sanson's got 3 out of 3 podiums this evening. Charles Kellerman in with Jamie Wilson in 10th and 11th. Then Ralph Cullinan 12th. Don't forget top 12 reverse. So it will be Cullinan on pole. Alan Toon lasted 2 laps, I think. Darren McLean lasted 1, and so did Steve Hefford there, unfortunately, as Steve had a coming together with Ralph Cullinan, who for some reason was on the dry tyres there. Tom can't quite work out why. But at the end of the day, great action all the way through, and we'll see what race 4 brings for us.
Yeah, and they'll want to get some mileage under their belts. I think it's dry again now, isn't it? If it is, then they'll want to get back into the rhythm of a dry circuit as the sun is setting round the Brands Hatch circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll wait for it to change over from that warm-up as well. Craig, what are you doing at these warm-up stages? You tell us from a driver's point of view. I'm normally sat chilling, not really doing a lot. What about yourself?
It kind of depends on how the race went beforehand, to be honest with you. So I'm either sat there licking my wounds, questioning whether I did the right thing or did the wrong thing, what I could be doing better. If it's perhaps at the end of race 1, I might be looking at it in terms of some of the lines that I saw other drivers taking that seemed to be a little bit quicker, so maybe practicing those lines as an option for race 2. So there's multiple things you could be doing in the warm-up. A lot of drivers just use it for a time to go and grab a drink, go to the loo, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's important, I think, to get a few laps down and just settle those nerves down before the start of the race. Particularly now we have got the weather elements coming into iRacing as well. So I think it's important to put a couple of laps down, get a feel for the track, and set yourself up as well as you possibly can for the race ahead.
While he's doing all that, I'm just sat chilling, to be blatantly honest, not doing a lot. Got to be honest on that one. Never really worried too much about going out on warm-up sessions, but half the field have gone out on warm-ups, which is scary actually, because I can guarantee the next grid here for race number 4 will need to be read very, very quickly, because they will get on to the grid at a very swift rate of knots. But 2 minutes left in practice. Gone dry now, Tom, as well. Should make it a little bit easier for these drivers.
Yeah, it should do. I don't know how much moisture there is still on the track, like leftover moisture, if you see where I'm coming from, but it does look bone dry from where we are sat.
Yeah, it's about as dry it could be, to be blatantly honest. I don't think there's anything they really can do with the circuit anymore. It's not like going to watch drag racing and then after the rain they got jet-powered, I want to say blowers out, to be blatantly honest, to try and absolutely dry the racetrack. Obviously, with drag racing, it's a little bit more important and a little bit more grip resistant. Then you can't have drag race running in the rain, because the dangers when you're going 0 to 320 miles an hour in just shy of 3 seconds. Yeah, you need all the grip you can get, I think, on that one. But it is looking dry here, Craig, for race number 4, final race of the evening. Any predictions?
Well, generally speaking, we would always predict chaos, wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
With it being a reverse grid and stuff like that. Hopefully, a bit more of a an even field with the same, all running on the same tyre. So hopefully we'll get one of those races where we do see a little bit of chaos, not too much chaos. We don't like, we don't want it to be a destruction derby, but we do like to see a good battle. We do like to see a bit of door banging here and there. So yeah, let's see what happens.
It's going to be very, very interesting on that one. Not looking forward to racing in the rain. I mean, most made that look easy. Well, Gary, you got to look at Tom Griffiths. If he made it on dry tyres, there's no reason you can't on the wets, mate. You've got to practice. I will say that you do have to practice rain running, because I didn't practice before I decided to take a Corvette for a spin. Didn't quite go to plan, i.e. at 10 attempts in the rain I didn't complete one lap at Silverstone, and I was going in the right direction. So imagine how Craig felt going in the wrong direction in the rain. Gee, I bet you might not have completed any.
To be honest, in the wet, if you're going right, you're left hand down anyway in these cars, because they're that difficult to manoeuvre. So you're kind of going in the wrong direction anyway.
Fair one. Go right to go left, isn't it? That's what Lightning McQueen was told in the Disney Cars movie that we've all watched and loved, I'm sure. But here is the grid for race number 4. Cullinan on pole, Charles Kellerman alongside, Jamie Wilson in third, then Colin Sanson, Andy Littler, Tom Griffiths, Fiona Siddons, Ollie Ricks, PVG, Jamie Ayres, Down Hunt and Pete Newman in the 12th reverse. So Alan Toon, Darren McLean and Steve Hefford. I read that so quick, the fact that they're almost getting onto the grid, ready to go here. And, well, they are there, in fact, already waiting on the grid. The lights are off now. Here we go. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Final race of the evening. 15 minutes at Brands in the dry. Ralph Cullinan gets the whole shot coming towards us here. The lights are going to be on. There's no track lights at Brands, so if it goes dark, that's going to be even more exciting. 3 wide almost with Wilson, Kellerman and Sanson. They've sorted it out, but it is Ralph Cullinan leading the way at the moment. Ollie Ricks trying to make moves further back over Andy Littler. Colin Sanson's on the inside, a little bit punchy over Fiona Siddons there for Ollie Ricks. He's trying to get through. Siddons is going to send it out the inside, going to have the inside line into Graham Hill. Still manages to hold on, slows the exit, unfortunately jeopardises that run out. But Jamie Wilson getting the run at the beginning now that overtakes Ralph Cullinan on that run from Graham Hill to Surtees, and it's Wilson leading the way here, Tom.
Yeah, can he pull away from the rest of the pack and not have to find himself in a squabble all the way through, because he's been in the wars too many times this evening, and Cullinan is fighting back towards Hawthorns.
Side by side at the moment there as well. Cullinan's trying to go around the outside, up the Minter straight, short little sharp spurt, sweeps around the outside of Jamie Wilson, makes it look completely easy. There into Westfield we go, round the right-hander, dropping down now. It is Cullinan, it is Wilson, it is Griffiths, it is Kellerman, all in that top 4. Looks like Pete Newman's been off the side of the circuit and is at the back end here. You can see Colin Sanson's well off the circuit. PVG's going to make the move around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold on? He is at this moment in time. It's all getting very, very close at the front. Cullinan, Wilson, Griffiths. Cullinan's looking for the inside line. Wilson's looking for the inside line there. He ain't out. He's in. Is it Tom Griffiths? Is he going to make it 3 wide? Are they going to go there? What's Cullinan thinking about? What's he going to try and do? He can't put it through the middle. Griffiths comes up 2 for 1. It's like an Aston special. Buy 1, get 1 free. Tom Griffiths did that on the run down into there as well, into Druids. Got 2 for 1 on that one, Tom. Stellar job from Tom Griffiths.
Yeah, he had the bit between his teeth there, did Tom Griffiths, finding a way through on the Brabham straight on Wilson and Collins go straight into the lead as they begin the second lap. And further behind we've got a battle between PVG and Ollie Ricks. Ricks having a better time of it so far in race number 4 and needs to get by Kellerman just to give himself a little bit of buffer over those in the same class as he is.
Yeah, at this moment in time, the entire field is separated by 6.6 seconds. That is it. Newman is out, and this is why Newman is out here. He's on the grass, he's on the grass. Is he going to be able to keep it out? No. Barrier, full ball for Pete Newman. That's jeopardised his car, and he's out. I don't mean in. He is out there for Pete Newman. And now it is all about what Griffiths is going to be able to do. All about Wilson's going to be Cullinan, Kellerman, Van Gogh, Ricks, Ayres, all fighting it out here with Dan Hunt 1.1 seconds back, with Hefford in there, Sampson as well. But Kellerman leading the AMs at the moment here, Craig, doing a great job for Charles Kellerman, sitting in that 4th overall, managing what he's got around him. He can't afford to lose too many places though, because I can tell you what, the guys behind him, Craig, are going to be coming at him thick and fast.
Yeah, I tell you that though, having raced Kellyman for years, he's a wise old fox, that one. And you know, I would not be. He can definitely hold his own where he is currently right now. So still really early on the race. We've got to remember that, and there will be some moves. It looks like we might have a move up on the inside now. They're thinking about it, going up onto the inside of Druids, 2 by 2, going around that corner. A little bit of touch in there, a little bit of edginess, but yeah, they've all made it through. So yeah, very diverse bunch at the front here. So I think we're going to be in for a treat on this race.
Yeah, Cullinan is cleared. I say he's cleared Griffiths. He took the position away from Griffiths for the shortest possible moment. Here did Ralph Cullinan. He's trying and probing and prodding. He's trying to get through. He's pushing once more. Ralph Cullinan, is he going to be able to make it? Where is he? He's just on our inside. On our outside is PVG. PVG is taking him on the outside there from Ralph Cullinan. Is Cullinan going to send out the inside? He is. He wants to demand the room. He needs the room, the Irishman. He's not got it on the run down through Dingledale. And PVG sweeps round Cullinan on that one, Tom. Great move from PVG. But I can tell you one thing. These cars are not separated by a lot right down into Darren McLean. 3.5 seconds across the spread of the field there, Tom. Goes to show how close it actually is here.
Well, it's shades of Daytona in the summer campaign, James, if you remember, where we had like 10 or so cars within like 3 or 4 seconds of each other. And now we've got a fight for the lead as what we've been waiting for throughout tonight. Wilson ahead of Griffiths. Angle, who'll be edging for a victory, which is sometime since his last win. I think he won in Daytona or something like that in the summer campaign, but he needs to try and get on terms and go for a victory here if he can.
Yeah, PVG, I've actually got him, Tom. Race 3 winner in Sletterton. Contact with Griffiths and Wilson. Well, don't drive. Oh my dearie me. He didn't even hang around on that one. He just looked at driving it straight back in. Was it across the nose? Who turned in on who? Well, we're going to find out here. Oh, they just kind of got that Velcro together, Craig, that we've seen plenty of times before. And unfortunately for Wilson, he come a bit of a cropper of it this time.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen with these cars for some reason. I don't know why. Highly frustrating. I've been there many a time. So you've got to be really careful when you're going side by side, particularly like they're doing right now. That's where the danger moments are. That sort of side draft can just drag you in and you become magnetic to each other. Yeah, you've got to watch out for it.
Definitely now in down through Dingledale, in through Sheens. You can see Griffiths in there. He's sitting currently in 4th place, doing a great job. PVG's off on the grass. He's trying to get that car stopped. What about down here? He's still going. He's still on the grass. He has lost all the places he's just made, and PVG goes all the way down to 10th overall. Kellerman has got McLean in there. Kellerman even lost the lead in the AMs to Sanson in front, who runs a little bit wide through Clark. But Ayres is in here. Griffiths is not letting him get away, though. They are scrapping on that run now. Lap 5, 8 minutes to go here, Tom. I wouldn't want to be trying to pick a winner. Anyone out of these top 8, top 9 could win this.
Yeah, any of them could win. I mean, you look at Hefford, who's right in there. We haven't spoken enough about Hefford this evening. He's done well in one of the races, but all the others, it feels like he's been in the wars, as Steve, so we'll want to try and get some form of recompense in race number 4. Ideally a podium, but a victory would be even better. Ralph Cullinan, who we've not spoken about too much about at the front of the field, has a golden opportunity to win at last, which we haven't seen before, I don't believe. In the summer campaign. He did win in the pro class at Spa some time ago, but not overall.
Yeah, it's been a while. Can't remember how far back it actually was for Ralph Cullinan. He's side by side with Ayres. Ayres has had a bit of a rough night with car contact. Let's not try and see that again. Up the inside he goes. They're going to run side by side through a corner where it's completely blind. In fact, they're going to take it 3 wide. Oh no! Jesus, governor! Griffith takes the 2 for 1 again, then finds himself on the grass. Ayres is going to try and come round the outside. Cullinan's now going to sit in there. He wants to run up through the middle. He's going to sit in through the middle. Dan Hunt's going to take him 3 wide through Clark. And we're going to see 4. They're not. We're going to see Archie Bargy, bangy, bangy here on this racetrack. Round Clark they go. Jamie Ayres, Tom Griffiths, Ralph Cullinan, Dan Hunt, Steve Hepburn, Ollie Ricks is in there, Colin Sanson's in there. Craig, that was elbows out here, and they're still not finished with Ralph Cullen and Dan Hunt in the background going for it as well. Oh, Sanson's gone round. Oh, Colin Sanson had a lead in the arms. He has gone round. But boy, oh boy, they're still going for it, Craig. I feel like I'm watching a prize fight. I'm not watching a race at the moment.
I am absolutely cursing my broken headset at the moment because I would love to be out here in this fight. This is absolutely fantastic. Making it right. A little bit of argy, as you said, but it's all been really, really respectful. Everyone given enough room, and is that Cullinan just standing around in the background? Yes, it is, sadly to say.
Yeah, for Ralph, was there? Well, they were 3 wide. Dan Hunt, Steve Hefford, there's going to be contact off Hefford. There was. Unsettled the car for Cullinan. Round he goes, taking it 3 wide. It's never going to work, and it didn't work that for that occasion either. Ayres is there. There he is. But Jamie Ayres, that's going to be a scary moment for Tom Griffiths, as Ayres is blinking around a little bit here. And Griffiths is going to have something to think about. He's going to have to give him a wide berth if he goes to make the move. Ayres is on the grass, gets the car under control. Hefford's on the grass, he gets the car under control. Now he's running down the back straight, now down through clearways, under the outbound bridge they go. Ayres in front in that black and red. Griffiths in the blue and green. Hunt's behind him in the red and white. It's all going off here, Tom. Race number 4 not failing to deliver for these guys that once more doing a spectacular job here.
Yeah, and the moment Griffiths and Ayres start fighting, all the others will start piling in on the attack, and you can just see Ayres a little bit out of shape on the entry to Paddock Hill Bend, and that's going to give Griffiths an opportunity to send one of the inside, but Ayres able to cover it off, and you can just see how the rest of the pack is bunching up now. There's contact. Yeah, that's Gould and McLean. They've come together.
Yeah, there's Van Gogh and McLean coming round here as well, and you can see them now. They've all bunched up like a party at Craig Jones's house in his kitchen, I can tell you that much. Ayres is now leading, Tom Griffith in there, Hunt is there, Hefford there, Ricks is there, Darren McLean and PVG going off the side of the circuit. PVG's on the ins. Oh, I can see what's going to go on here. McLean's going to go across the nose at some point. No, they got attached again. Second time this evening, Craig. We've seen that Velcro attachment, but we're also seeing Griffith and Hunt. They're gonna, oh, there he be, they're gonna do it as well. Oh, how did they survive that one, Mr. Jones?
I've no idea. This is just fantastic racing. This is what we want to see. I think there's been pretty much most laps has been a different leader. So these top 6, including the ones that have gone off, have all had a turn at nearly being at the front, haven't they? So you just don't know where. I'm sure you're really struggling to find where to put the cameras at the moment.
Oh, but is it going to be in this midsection, I think, at the moment? Because they're having a battle down and further down with Littler, Sanson and Toon. I would have loved to see Tooney having a right little ding-dong there as well. As much as I'd love to see Alan Toon with boxing gloves on, to be blatantly honest. I think that would be the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. But these guys are at a boxing match. They're not at a racetrack. They're not at Brands Hatch. They've got the gloves off. They've got the gum shields in. Head guards on for protection. Let's face it, we don't want any brain injuries. And they are coming out swinging. Every single one of them are literally having a right little go. Ayres is trying to hold on. He's trying to break away from Griffiths and Hunt. He needs these two to fight, but with every corner they're not. It's every corner they're closing in on him. They are closing and closing through Surtees now for the rundown Pilgrims, and it is Jamie Ayres, it is Tom Griffiths, it is Dan Hunt, and they're still going at it, Tom, and will be for the next 2 laps.
Yeah, and Ayres will be thinking about where to place the car for the last lap because he knows that Griffiths has still got more ideas left in there as does Dan Hunt, and we've got a fight for 4th position between Steve Evans, Ollie Ricks and Jamie Wilson. Any one of these 6 could all of a sudden pick up the last win of the night as Wilson sends it on Ricks through Dingledale.
Yeah, through Sheens he goes. Wilson's going to have that inside line. Ricks is going to have the inside for the left-hander as Sterling's now. It's not over yet. Wilson's going to hold it on. He's going to be big, brave, pick him up and stick him in his pocket, and he's going to absolutely go for it, and he did, and he made it work. He is through. He is there now. This front 6 are getting a little bit fractured. This fighting has caused some breakages, should we say. And now the breakaway on the final lap is Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths. I still think Dan Hunt's going to win because these two are going to have a right little ding-dong with the point that they're going to come together. Griffiths drives his car in real life. He drives these tracks in real life. He knows what he's got to do here. One thing he hasn't got to do is put Jamie Ayres off the side of the grass. I can tell you that much. But Ayres is all slidey-lidey there as well. He's on a little bit of an ice rink at the moment. Griffiths pressurising, Craig, and he's only got half a lap left to try and have a go.
Yeah, and look, he's managed to claw their way back up as well after a mistake. Dan Hunt's starting to join the train again as well. So this literally, you just cannot call this. This is fantastic racing to see. If you want to know how talented these guys are, you go and watch an official race because you will not see a race as good as that you get in this league. This is brilliant to watch.
Side by side now as well through Hawthorns. Griffiths in the blue, Ayres in the red and black. Hunt's going to take it 3 wide. I don't know why, but he nearly did. He nearly had it 3 wide. It's now Dingledale. Ayres is gone. He's gone. Where is he? He's come back on the racetrack. Hunt sticking his nose in. Ayres covering off Griffiths. Hunt sniffing the fumes that's coming out of Griffiths' exhaust about now. He's that close. Griffiths is trying it. Ayres got all out of shape. It's going to be the final run down now as well. The final run. Hunt's going to take it 2 wide. Griffiths is going to take it 3 wide. Ayres trying to cover him off. It's a run down to the line. It is Jamie Ayres. Is it going to be Jamie Ayres? It might be Jamie Ayres. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is going to be Jamie Ayres with Tom Griffiths in behind. Dan Hunt not far apart at all. Hepburn takes it over from Wilson and Ricks. And that is the top 6 coming over the line. I can tell you one thing, in less than 1.5 seconds for the top 6. That is faster than you can get up and make a cup of coffee, I can tell you that much. Charles Kellerman wraps a win up in the arms. Great job from Kellerman there as everybody else comes over the line. Sanson lost, well, he got, oh dear me, I want that run down there from Sanson and Littler. These guys were having a right little go down onto the line as well. I don't know if Littler makes a mistake. No, he finds Siddons in the middle of the racetrack. Colin Sanson somehow took this place away from Andy Littler. Where did Littler make the mistake? He's got a big enough gap on the run to Dingledale. He's had a little bit of a ta-ta-ta with something, as his name looks like I'm trying to read it through drunk goggles about now. But look at Sanson coming at him here, Tom, as well. This was a great run down to the line from Colin Sanson.
I wonder if Littler picked up damage from earlier on, hence why Sanson was able to close in on him in the final stretch of corners. And yeah, you could just see he's about to go into a drag race. The line gets so much more speed out of clearways. And yeah, that tells you everything you need to know. There is Sanson going over line. Yeah.
That was mightily close on that one. Now let's bring you up the results from race number 4, the final race of the evening. Jamie Ayres wraps up the win. Griffiths takes 2nd place. Hunt in 3rd place there as well. 2 drivers, by my prediction at this moment in time, have taken podiums all night long. I'll ask the panel in a minute if they can figure out who that one actually is. Dan Hunt in 3rd, Steve Pefford in 4th, and Jamie Wilson in 5th, and Ollie Ricks in 6th. Charles Kellerman wraps a win up in the arms there in 7th, with Ralph Cullen and Colin Sanson and Andy Littler taking the podiums. Fiona Siddons, Sir Alan Toon, Darren McLean, PVG and Pete Newman. We have got Fiona Siddons in the interview room here as well. I'll give my panel a couple of more minutes to figure out who are the 2 drivers that's podiumed every single race here this evening. We'll have a chat with Fiona Siddons, who had a little bit of a moment in race 4, but did pick up, if I'm not mistaken, her first win in race number 3 in the AM class. Fiona, welcome in. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I just wanted to pop in, just see what I can do in the wet when Craig's not about.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, mate, look, to be honest, when Craig's not around, you're all going in the right direction as well. So that's always a good thing, you know. But well done, taking your first win here this evening in class.
Yeah, thank you. Happy with that. I think that fourth race, it was going well until we went three wide into the corner.
And then it didn't go so well.
No.
It was going well right up until the point where it wasn't.
It was, yeah, that's true.
But it was good racing, right? You know, look at race 4. It was absolutely chaotic. I was on the edge of my seat here. It nearly gave myself an heart attack. And everybody else, you know, while you guys were having a right little ding-dong. That's not a bad way to end an evening at all.
No, it's been fun round here tonight, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I do fully agree with you on that one. And so well done for taking your first AM win as well this season. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go here?
Yeah, you guys for doing the stream, everybody who does all the work in the background to make this series happen, and everybody who takes the time to watch us.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. A great crowd in YouTube chat tonight as well. Fiona, thanks so much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, goodbye, everybody.
Take care. Of course, that was Fiona Siddons who's taken the first win here as well. Closing thoughts. Let's start off with my question. Who are the only 2 drivers, Tom, that's taken podiums in every race here this evening?
Ooh, I would say one of them has to be Dan Hunt, and the other being... Are we talking pro podiums or AM podiums?
Oh, I can't tell you. There's just 2 drivers on this racetrack that's podiumed all night.
Ooh, okay then. I would probably say, well, it's not Pete Newman, obviously. It's not PVG. I'd probably say it's probably going to be Jamie Ayres.
And who else? Did you say?
I said Dan Hunt.
All right, Craig, who are you thinking? The only 2 drivers to podium all night?
That's the names that I had in my head as well.
Well, you've got one of them. You got one in Dan Hunt. The other one who podiumed all night was Mr. Colin Sansom out of the AM class. He podiumed in the AMs all night and took 2 wins, a 3rd and a 2nd. So we got a full house here tonight for Colin Sansom as well. That's going to wrap it up. As much as I'd love to chat to my colleagues alongside me all night, we probably aren't going to be too happy in the UK SimRacers on that one if I extend this broadcast any longer. But for now, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns and Craig Jones here. And as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.